Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of the Joe Martin Podcast. Today I'm here with Robert and Vivi. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm Robert Flores from Principium
And I'm Vivi from White Crow and Los Combacs.
So what I find interesting about you guys is that you guys are really young. Most of the musicians I interviewed are more or less my age, which I'm like 25, so like some are 23, 24. You guys are like what, 18 I think, or 16 or?
I'm actually 17.
17, okay.
Yeah, I'm 16.
So how was your musical journey? Because you guys are pretty talented at your level right now. But then at what age did you guys actually start?
Well, I want to learn.
Okay, after. Well, I mean, for me, I was like 11 years old. And, I never really had like an interest for music or anything like that. It was just kind of like my parents asked me like, hey, like, do you want to take like music classes? Because I wasn't really doing anything. Like, I didn't have a stable hobby or anything. And I was like, I mean, sure, like, why not? So, and I just kind of, I don't even know why I chose the guitar. It was just kind of like, okay, I like the guitar.
Can you pick up the mic, the actual things right here?
What? Oh, yeah, like this?
Yeah, because this microphone is like the sensors right here in the middle.
Oh, okay, like
this. Yeah, like there you
go. Okay. There, can you hear me better now? So I didn't really have like a hobby, so they just told me, do you want to take music classes? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I started with guitar, and I started with acoustic guitar actually. And for me, it was just like, I just kind of saw it like as a side thing. I never saw it like as a full career or anything. It was just kind of like, I would come home after school, go to my guitar lesson, and it was like an hour long.
Just for fun, basically.
I would just come home and like just leave my guitar there. Like I wouldn't even practice that much. Like, I didn't take it seriously. I never thought it would be like my career. Like, do
you still remember the first song you played? Like, or the first song you learned?
The first song I learned was "Ode to Joy," which is that little classic.
Oh yeah.
That little melody, yeah. So I learned it, and I remember I used to think it was the hardest thing ever. And I performed it in my little showcase that they have. And well, then from there, I just kind of started playing more acoustic guitar, and it was pretty chill. I started learning chords, and I actually used to sing along with it. So I used to sing and play guitar. That was kind of my thing. I used to sing and play chords and play like my favorite songs. Mostly it was pop songs at the time because I wasn't really into rock. So it was just like whatever was trending on the radio. And then I remember this one time, since I also used to sing, my instructor Roy, which was my first teacher. Yeah. He asked me if I wanted to sing.
That's the same Roy from with Martin, right? Okay.
Yeah. So he was like our first teacher.
Okay.
So he had like this little rock project, like it was kind of like a little rock band he was starting where he had a drummer and he had a guitarist, but he didn't have a singer. So he asked me like, hey, I like the way you sing, you should come this Saturday, and test it out. And I was like, okay, sure. So, I showed up and they asked me to sing Don't Let Me Down by the Beatles, I remember.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I sang it and everything. And I was like, wow, this feels cool. I like rock music. It was like, this feels different, Because acoustic, it was just for me, like personally, it was just boring. Like, it was like, okay, I'm just playing chords. I'm just singing along. But rock, it was like a whole different feel. It was like, wow, like this is amazing, like I have to continue with this. So I started singing for that band and we would like play at little shows, little showcases, and I would just sing. Yeah. And then I started playing the guitar, but I started playing the electric guitar because he was like, so this is like a rock thing. You can't really play acoustic guitar.
Yeah, you have to play electric.
But you should try the electric guitar. And at first I was like, well, I've never played the electric guitar. It seemed like so big and scary. And I see like videos of people like shredding on it. And I'm just like, I only knew how to play chords. I was never like a lead player or anything. So I was like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I should try it. So I started playing chords and singing along with it. The same thing I would do with acoustic, but electric. And well, eventually the guitarist for that band left. So I became the guitarist. So it was just a drummer, a bassist, and I would play guitar and sing at the same time. Just chords, it was easy stuff. Yeah. And like every once in a while I would play a little solo or something like that, little introduction. And that's pretty much how I started. And then I started getting into like other bands and the band started progressing and new members started coming in. And then eventually I drifted away from singing because it wasn't really my thing. It was just kind of like I used to do it because there was no one else to do it. Yeah. I just kind of drifted away from singing and I started doing more guitar and that's when I started playing like more lead stuff and everything. And that's kind of, to this day, that's kind of what I'm doing. Now I'm like a full-time guitarist. Yeah.
And what about you, Robert?
Oh, for me, I started off different. I actually started in Mexico.
Yeah.
When I was little, I was at this school, the Oxford School, which is like a bilingual.
Can you make a little bit of hair?
It was a bilingual school. So, they had a lot of activities and stuff. And one of those activities was music, specifically music as in electric guitar. They would teach electric guitar. Yeah. To little kids like me, or they had a different class which was advanced, but like I was in the little kids class. And that's where I started.
So you started off in Mexico. You weren't like, you're not a native from the valley, or?
I'm not from the valley.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Reynosa.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So like, how was that journey, like coming from Mexico to like the U.S.?
It was really difficult for my family. We went through a lot, and I think that event of my life was one of the main things that led me into music. Yeah. Because when stuff happens and your family is going through stuff, I think the only thing a person can do is sit and listen to music. Yeah. Or if you're like an adult, work.
Because the music allows you to express your emotions, whatever you're going through. Yeah. It allows you like a creative outlet Because I mean, you can choose to either become violent and become like do stuff that's not like, you know.
Yeah.
Or you can choose, you know, a creative outlet, because, you know, I had friends who like they got to like mental issues, and they can choose either to like release it towards people, or I mean, in my case of my friend Lupe, he chose music, and that's how he has like all of this like, it's negative, basically negative emotions. He releases it through music rather than it to people, because I mean, he's been through a lot. So like, I could imagine that you probably went through a lot traveling from Mexico to the U.S. and then like, what were some of your struggles?
Some of my what?
Struggles.
So
coming from like the U.S., from Mexico to the U.S.
Probably not losing, but like leaving behind friends, relatives.
Yeah.
Our stuff, because when we came here, we didn't bring all of our stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we had to leave behind some stuff, and eventually we got everything to the valley. But like, yeah, music was one of the things that was there for me and for the rest of my family.
Yeah.
But I didn't play it. I wasn't playing it. I started when I was little, and I played it like for like an extracurricular activity at my school. But like, it wasn't really a serious thing. It was more like just an activity.
Just to have fun.
Just to like spend time with doing something.
Yeah, it allows you to like hang out with. It allows you to basically to make new friends as well, because now you can play music with other people who are also musically inclined.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I met a lot of people, and I still remember my electric guitar teacher from that school. His name was Mr. Arellano.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot of stuff. Like, he taught me how to use pedals and how to, like, in general, obviously play guitar and chords and lead guitar.
What was the first song you learned to play?
Honestly, I don't really remember, because I wasn't serious back then. I was small. I don't know if I was like, because I don't really know the year I started.
Yeah.
But like, when I moved here, I found my guitar, my old guitar. It was like it was a small Fender Starcaster, not a Stratocaster, a Starcaster, which is like a baby guitar.
Okay.
And that's the one I used to use. And I was like, from what year is this? Because I forgot what year I started on. Because like, I told you before, like, I started guitar, then I quit, then I started when I was 13.
Yeah.
But like, back then I had this black guitar, which was like a Fender Starcaster. And I read the tag, like when I got it, like when I was 13. It's a 2009, so I'm guessing that's the year I started. That, because that's when I bought the guitar, the tag. It's still in it. It's still on it. And so yeah, I'm guessing 2009.
2009. Yeah, because I'm surprised, because like the stereotypical songs, when people think about like their first guitar song, it's either Smoke on the Water or a Seven Nation Army. Those are always like the stereotypes of first songs.
I don't really remember my first song, but like I do remember that school, in that extracurricular class, they had like a little kermes, which is like it's a Mexican kind of like festival.
Yeah.
But like in my school, at my school, and they had like a showcases of the classes, after school classes, and my class, my electric guitar class, was in it. And I remember some of the set list. It was Sweet Child of Mine, We Will Rock You, and in that song I would play bongos.
Bongos?
I remember it was like the last minute thing, because that song wasn't on the set list.
Yeah.
I remember my teacher was like, we're gonna play a song, like an encore, and that song's gonna be the song we're gonna play. And I was like, I don't know that song. What am I gonna do? It's okay, I got you bongos.
Yeah.
to the rhythm though.
Yeah, it's something simple.
Something simple. And so another song that we played was Happy Day. I think that's the name. Happy Day. It's like a religious song. But like, we made it into rock, which is cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
And those are the only 3 songs I remember. Those are probably the songs. The first 3 songs. Also In Bloom. That's one of the songs.
Nirvana. Okay.
By Nirvana, yeah. So those are like the songs I started with.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I wasn't serious about music back then, so I didn't really know either the name of the song or the band. I realized after.
So when you guys were learning music, well, I'm gonna ask both of you. Did you guys learn like the traditional way, where like you learn like what each note is, or did you learn through like your ear? Because there's certain musicians where when they're learning music, they learn by ear. They don't learn the traditional method, which is like note by note, chord by chord.
No, yeah, like for me, when I started with the acoustic guitar, it was like they gave me the little sheet music, and my teacher would teach me how to read like little notes, like I remember like the little scales and everything, and I would like try to do it, and it was cool and everything. But whenever I got into like electric guitar, I just kind of drifted away from that, because most electric guitar players learn by ear.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because it's good because you can kind of like, pick up songs quickly instead of like, oh, I can't do it because I need the sheet music or whatever. But in a way, it's also kind of bad because it's like you kind of, that moment whenever you like, for example, like I want to go to like a music college or something like that, they might ask me to read sheet music. So I got to work on that too. I kind of got to like get up to it. But I mean, as of now, I just kind of learn by ear. So it's like I hear the songs and I kind of like imitate what they're doing, or I can kind of like improvise in the scale or something like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, at the moment, I just learn all by ear. I don't really do musical like music sheets or anything like that.
What about you, Robert?
For me, it was also really different because it wasn't really ear or sheet music.
Okay.
It was more visual.
Visual? Okay.
So it really shows when you scroll down my Instagram and you see me playing. It's all dry. It's not. It's like it's like dry playing. You know what I mean? It's just like forced playing because I would look at YouTube videos and copy what they were doing, and I didn't really have like the ear to play until I got a teacher to teach me, and he taught me some concepts on sheet music and ear training.
Yeah.
So I was able to like play music knowing what I was doing. So that's what I did.
So continuing on the subject of school, how did COVID affect you guys? Because you guys were actually, you're still in high school. How did COVID basically affect not only like your educational stuff, but like your music?
Well, COVID was really hard for everyone, not only artists, also for normal people, jobs and stuff. So that was my case. I mean, not my case. My case was that I couldn't go to my music school because when I started music at 13, well, I'm kind of like going far.
Yeah.
Because before I went to music school, I had a teacher. But like fast forward, during COVID times, I was going to school abroad. And I went there for like a couple of months until COVID started. I think my last show I played with them before COVID was at Borderfest.
Borderfest.
We actually,
I saw you there, yeah.
She saw me there, and I
So
saw
that was
her
the first
too.
time you guys met?
No.
No.
We met like a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a story for later.
Okay.
It's a really cool story.
And what about you? Like, how did COVID affect you, like, with your education and your music as well?
Well, I mean, for me, COVID was just kind of, like he said, it was hard for everyone. My last show was also Borderfest because we both played that show. I remember, like, I saw him with his band. But my music school is separate because I'm with Creative Arts Studio, so it's like a different music school.
Oh, okay.
But, like, both of the music schools played, like, on the same stage, So we were both, like, playing there. And, like, we never thought it would be, like, the last time that we played live, It was just crazy because, like, in a few days, everything was shutting down. And it was like, dude, what's going on? It was like, whoa.
No, that was wild because from what I remember, the December before March when COVID hit, I was talking with one of my friends, his name's Zach, and he kept telling like me and my other friends, Jordan, he was like, I feel like this is gonna be like the last normal Christmas. And we were just looking at him like,
Why, dude? Yeah.
I don't know why. He was like that. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like, yeah, whatever. We just thought he was just being crazy.
Yeah. And then
then March hits, and it was during spring break, and I was in Iowa. I was visiting my family. My uncle was there, and the first week of spring break, COVID hits here in the valley. Like I think the first case was in SPI because someone came from up north to SPI and they got the first case, and then they started like shutting down the school. Like, oh, we'll be shut down for one more week. Yeah. No big deal. Whatever. 2 weeks of spring break. Whatever. Then it became another week. And then like the whole month, the whole school year just went out.
I remember that. I remember the last day of school. I think it was like the day before spring break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were there and we were like, because people started leaving. Because I remember the exact time. I was like in class, and then our teacher was like, the CDC just said that there's gonna be like a long, not a long period, like an extra week of spring break because there's like this new disease coming up, a new virus coming up. Sorry, and so we have to like wait a little longer. And we were like, nah, this is gonna be like a short time. We didn't think about it. We didn't really think about it. We were just happy we were getting another week.
Why not?
Like,
it's fun.
But like that was one side of us. The other side was like, we're never gonna come back. We're not coming back. We're not coming back.
Did you guys want to come back or no? Like honestly, like.
I didn't really think about it, but like I did notice that people were like scared.
Yeah.
And even parents started picking up children before because they were saying they were scared it was already in the
spreading already. Yeah.
So people were leaving before the end of school, and that was really scary. And I remember the last day we didn't really do work. We were just sitting playing, watching news and playing games and talking. that because of COVID, plus it was the last day of school before spring break, so it was like a fun day. It was like a fun day. I remember. I also remember they had like a little. I forgot how they call it, like a pool day at school. Like they rented water slides. It was really fun.
Wow,
I didn't get on those things because my family already knew about COVID, so
you were scared. Yeah,
we didn't got it. Plus the water was gross.
It was gross.
Yeah, we kind of sidetracked from music.
Oh my god, no, it's okay. That's why like it's not all about music. It's about your experiences and as well as music.
Yeah.
So going on with that, I mean, did it affect you guys like mentally at all? Like, were you kind of feeling down because like, oh, okay, I'm not going to back to school, or were you guys actually happy because hey, now we have all this free time now?
In the beginning, it was like, we get like free time from school, and especially like as musicians, it was like, dude, we get more time to practice. So I would like spend my afternoons practicing and learning new songs and everything. And I was like, well, I'm excited to go back with the band, and show them all these new songs that I've learned and everything. But then it was a month passed by, and it was kind of like that's kind of when it hit. It was just like, bro, like we're never gonna get out of this, and it was just kind of like, okay. So that's kind of I feel like when the mental part kind of kicked in.
Yeah.
And it was just frustrating because it was like, I mean, especially me, like, and my sisters, because I have my sisters, like, we're big fans, like, we always go out, we're always, like, going to the mall to go eat, like, we're like that, so, and it was, like, a month had passed by, and we had, like, literally gone nowhere, only my parents had gone to get food, but, like, only one of them would go,
Yeah, just to
and it was weird, because, like, I was tired of being in my house, like, I even got tired of playing guitar, I was like, dude, like, I just want to get out, I want to do something else, I want to see my friends, and it was just sad, because, like, we couldn't do anything, and we had to stay indoors, but then I feel like after that month passed by, like, I just kind of got used to it, and I went back into my music, and I, like, went deeper into it, and that's when I started my Instagram. I started my Instagram like as a way to kind of like relieve myself from like all the mental pressure. Yeah. So I started my Instagram, and I started just uploading my content, just for other people, to see, to inspire other people, maybe to make someone smile, because maybe like, COVID,
especially everybody needed at that
everybody
time.
needed, So I was playing popular songs, that people liked and everything, in hopes of making someone smile, in hope of making someone's day, maybe. So I started just uploading covers like that, and then eventually it just kind of became like a habit, and I would upload covers like every week or something. I mean, until this day, I'm still posting stuff on my Instagram. I'm pretty active on it, and it's just something that's part of me now.
You can go ahead and plug it, like just say the name of your Instagram.
Oh yeah, well the name of my Instagram is at Vivi the guitarist. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I have YouTube too. And
Robert, you can plug in your. I'll put it in the video afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So my Instagram is Robert of Guitar or Robert F Guitar. It's like kind of like a game because my last name is Flores, so I kind of did that, and I have a YouTube, but it's not a serious thing. It's more like to keep
track of your progress,
not track of my progress, but like save long videos that I can post on Instagram. You know what I mean? Okay,
that makes sense.
And TikTok, I think it's the same name, Robert of Guitar. Yeah.
Okay. So you could continue on with your...
Pretty much. So like I said, I found my Instagram as an escape, kind of from the COVID reality and everything. And I started posting stuff, and I still post stuff to this day. I mean, and pretty much I feel it was that Instagram that helped me meet like a lot of new people, and it gave me like a whole different perspective on like life, because back then I didn't have like social media at all. Yeah. So I feel that also like impacted me, because I was like completely closed, I couldn't talk to anyone. And like through social media, I was able to meet like all these cool people, and see like big influences of mine, like post stuff and everything. And I feel that's kind of what kept me like sane pretty much throughout COVID, just posting guitar and getting comments and like, replying to people. That's kind of what helped me get through the mental state of COVID pretty much.
That makes sense. And what about you?
For me, like mentally, I didn't really get affected that much.
Okay.
Because I was never the type of kid that would go out with friends or with people. I think
so you're more introverted.
I'm more introvert.
Okay.
So I wouldn't go out anyway. So I stay home. I play music, and the only thing that I missed was playing live with my music with my music school. And I was like, damn, I wish I could go back to Border Fest, because that was our last show, and it was really fun. It was also our biggest, and I saw her there before we even started dating. So I was said that I wanted to go back, but like in reality, like most of the time, I also wanted to stay.
Oh, okay.
Because I know people were like being affected by it, but like personally, taking that out, staying home was really refreshing for me. I was able to like be more chill with myself and learn new things. My mom would send me articles to read, and I would learn new music. And school started online, so it wasn't really a big change, even though it was. But not really for me. You know what I mean?
I get you. So how was that experience starting, like fast forwarding afterwards, like, summer was over, now you're back to school, but now everything's online. How was that? Like, because I couldn't imagine, like me, I hated, like Like when I was in college, basically, I would do online classes, but I hated them. But you guys were forced to do online classes through Zoom and other video programs. How was that like?
I hated it. I remember I thought that was gonna last forever. Like we're not going back to school unless it's like you're actually present in school. But yeah, I remember my mom said, "Oh, you guys are gonna go back to school, but online." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not going back to school. Like they're not gonna make me go to school." And I was like, "Damn!" Like I ran back to my room and I was like, I thought about it and I was like, I'm gonna have to do this anyway, so why complain?
Yeah.
So I did, and I hated it because it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a pain for us because we don't have any materials. They just give us a laptop and charger, and that's it.
Oh wow! I thought they would like send you papers or packages just to know. Damn.
We had to make them ourselves. That's the deal about it, because we didn't. I don't like writing stuff. Like even at school I would type, but like when I was at home I had to like write it down, because then I had to like take a picture of it and turn it in, and they wouldn't accept Google Docs format or any other.
Wait, for us they wouldn't.
They wouldn't unless they asked you for it.
Yeah.
But like most of the time it was a picture thing.
Because you would think like since it's online, might as well just upload the pictures,
No.
the files to like Google Docs.
They really wanted it to like keep it as natural as if it was like in school. You know, you know how in school we do paper.
Yeah, it's paper.
So yeah, we did paper all the time. And then fast forward, we had to take the AP exams.
How did you guys do that? Same thing online or?
It was online.
Oh.
Yeah.
AP exams online. And if you think about it, there's no camera. People could copy if they wanted to.
Because that was a big issue from what I understand. Like I was reading articles where there was a lot of people like who would just miss school because it's the computer. I don't have to show up, or they would just like they would log into the computer, but they wouldn't show up in class. They would just have it without the camera on, basically.
Yeah.
Did you notice that or no?
There were a lot of people without the camera on.
Yeah, and then like, they wouldn't do their work, and they was just like, whatever.
I would have it off too, but like I would still be in class.
Yeah.
I would have the camera off and the microphone off, and I would just listen to music and chill. That's one part that I like. That's one part that I like.
Yeah.
And there was one time that the teacher asked me to turn on my microphone for to answer a question. I think I don't really remember that, but like and I had music on, and I forgot to put pause on it. And I'm still like cringing at that.
What about you? Like, how was your experience with online classes with Zoom and all that stuff?
With online classes, like at first it started like they announced we were gonna have like online classes, and I was like, okay, like, yeah, like I didn't want to go back to school. I was like, okay, because like I mean I was chilling. It had been like a solid 2 weeks and we weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
So I was chilling, like I was having time of my life, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna do school online. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I guess I'll just do it. So like I would like log into the Google Meets or whatever, the Zoom. I mean, and it was just different because like it wasn't the same, and usually in school, like you're there in person and you have to focus because if not, the teachers,
you're right
like,
there,
yeah, they're right there, they're gonna get after you. I mean, and for me, like I'm always like really distracted, I'm like very like to look at other things, so I was like looking around and I would like lose my focus, and I feel like I wasn't focusing enough, and especially, and I would fall asleep sometimes and like just put my camera off, and then,
oh my god,
yeah, I mean, so like it was cool. I would still do my work, of course, and turn everything in, but like at the same time, it was just kind of like, well, I don't want to sit there for like 8 hours, so it was like I would stand up and I would go eat and take my computer with me.
Yeah, you would get tired just sitting down on a
yeah,
on a
like
computer.
even sometimes I would just turn off the computer and sorry, not the computer, the camera and the mic, and I would like even just leave it there, and I would go shower, and then I would go eat, and I would come back, and then I would just like, yeah, it was pretty crazy, and I feel because of that, like I eventually just kind of like drifted away from like the whole school thing. Like I was still uploading assignments, but I feel like it was cool in a way because it gave us like more freedom, So like I said, I could like eat and do whatever I wanted while still being logged into the class, which was pretty convenient at the time because like I was really busy doing other stuff and everything. But I mean, overall, like I liked the whole experience of online school. Like I felt it was pretty cool. Like you said, you could listen to music. Like I was just chilling. Like it was cool, dude. I was chilling the whole time and everything. And then, I mean, I just kind of got used to it, and it just kind of got normal, and I would like do my work. So pretty much, I mean, it wasn't like a big change, but it was like a cool change because now I could like do the same work, but like with music, with food, with like walking around and everything. Like
because that's becoming a lot of the norm. Where so people for people who would go to work, now they start working from home, and now they're enjoying it, and they don't want to go back to the office.
Yeah. So then when they told me we were going back, I was kind of like, I'm used to this. Like I don't want to go back. So then. But we had to go back, and like now I'm glad we're back. Of course, like I'm very thankful that everything got better again. And that things are a little bit better right now.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah, much better for sure.
Yeah, because like when it came to the podcast and the video stuff, I mean, There's other people who like interview artists from here in the valley, but I think there's only like 2 other people, and they only do it online. They don't actually they do it through Zoom. So like it doesn't feel as organic. Where it's one thing talking with like me talking to you guys in person compared to you just talking to a camera and using your phone's the laptop's microphone. Mm-hmm. And it's not the same experience because then you can't control that. You can't control the audio quality. You can't control the video quality. And like for me, it's just mostly the conversation where you're more than likely going to cut off somebody when you're speaking to the camera compared to like in person.
Yeah, for sure. It's way different.
It's not as fun.
And because of that, I feel like we got used to cameras, So it was like I got used to just seeing people through cameras, and like the first time that I like things were going down a little bit, and I was able to like see some family or some friends again. It was crazy, it was awkward. Like I kind of forgot how to socialize in a way. We would just be there, and it was like, oh hi, I missed you too, and you were like, oh hi. Yeah, like
a lot of people's like social skills got affected by that. Because even with like kids, like babies, when it comes to like recognizing like emotions and like all these experiences, it's based on your face. And since everybody was wearing a mask, for babies it was harder. Like it was affecting their development where they can't recognize emotions as well, and like basically their social skills are going to be like really messed up for a while. And
for sure. Like I know a lot of like cousins. Like I have a cousin that was born during COVID.
Yeah,
and it was just it's crazy because it's like you see these little kids and like they don't get to go out, little kids, you like to like take them to the park or like
have fun,
and it's just crazy because they were always indoors, and I feel they grew up that way. They grew up with like YouTube and just watching like Coco Melon and all of the little music videos, and I feel that affected a lot of people, and it's like kind of in a negative and in a positive way, in a way, like both ways. But I feel it goes more toward negative, like it's better to be out there. And now that we're back, I'm glad that like people are getting to experience like more outside connection, like social skills with how we used to before, which is really cool.
Like when it comes to that, like the high school experience, like especially like the social events, did you guys get affected by that? Like going out to field trips, prom, or I don't know, like if you guys have gone to prom yet or not, but like all those like stereotypical like high school experiences.
Well, my school, we were supposed to go to trips and stuff, but obviously because of COVID, just everything got canceled.
Yeah.
Even now that we're back, we're still not going anywhere.
Oh, for reals?
Yeah, not my school. Maybe personally, like with my family, maybe but like not with school. I don't think parents trust school anymore when it comes to field trips. That was maybe locally, but like not like out of state or upstate or stuff like that.
Dang, yeah, because that was my concern. Because I'm like, man, like people who were seniors during COVID, which was 2020 and 2021, like COVID was still like everything was still shut down. So like these people weren't going to experience anything. They don't know what a senior trip is, what a prom is. Like it's sad because you don't get to experience that. And because even in college, I mean, by that point, you don't have those kind of trips. You go with your friends and everything, but you don't go with your classmates.
Oh yeah, I'm a senior now, and we still get to have a little taste of what of our senior is. We still get to do some stuff, but like when it comes to field trips, nah. We're gonna have prom soon.
You're still gonna have prom now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I mean, honestly, that's
we had a homecoming and prom and all of those traditions that we do. Also, graduation and college signing day is coming up, and we're actually gonna do that. So that's really cool.
Are you guys gonna perform at your prom or no?
I don't really know because the rest of my band, they're in different grade levels. They're juniors, and our drummer is from 8th grade. So, and I'm the only senior, even though I'm the second. Smallest, I look the smallest from everyone. Yeah.
Oh dang.
Sadly, but like I'm actually the one that's more. That's a senior, and I'm gonna have to go and leave them behind. But like I'm still gonna be with them in their band.
So what are your plans in terms of like going forward? Like, because once you leave this band, are you going to like go solo? Or are you going to make a different band, or what's your plan afterwards?
I don't think I'm gonna leave them.
Oh, I thought you were actually leaving them when you said.
No, I'm going to college.
Okay. I thought you meant the band. No,
no, I'm actually staying with them.
What about you? Like, what's your plans for now? Like in terms of your music? So you said you were in 2 bands, right? Or
yeah, I'm in 2 bands. So I'm like in Los Comebacks. It's like the Creative Arts Studio Music School band. And I've been in that before, like, I don't know, with your interview with Martin.
Yeah.
I know they mentioned The Switch, and that was like my first band as well. I was a guitarist for that. And like I said, that was like the first rock little group that I kind of got into. And then eventually, because of COVID, it just kind of like drifted apart. Like we kind of lost connection. So when we went back, when the music school reopened, we started a new band, which was Los Comebacks. And that's why we call it Los Comebacks, because we're like the ones that came back.
Yeah.
The comebacks, but we call it Los Comebacks, to make it like more...
like they incorporate
Spanish,
the Tex-Mex.
Yeah. Los Comebacks. So... and I was able to get into that as a guitarist. And I mean, and I'm still doing that. I've been doing it for around a year now since everything reopened kind of. And I mean, I really enjoy playing because I've gotten really close to them, and they're kind of like my family now. Because I've been with them ever since I started playing music. You know, I've known these kids ever since I was like 11, and now I'm 16. So it's crazy because I've known them for like 5 years now, and we've been playing ever since we were young. So,
so one question I want to ask you was, when it comes to like rock music, like when you think of young people, you don't really think about classic rock music. You think like more like pop, like Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
How did you guys both get introduced to like classic rock specifically?
Well, for me, classic rock, it started, like I said, whenever I sang that song, Don't Let Me Down by the Beatles, that was like my first ever rock music encounter type thing. So I heard that and I was like, you know, I like this. This is different. It's like, it's cool. So I went home that day and I remember I listened to like the Beatles album, the Abbey Road one, that one.
Okay, well, yeah,
and I heard it and I was like, oh, like this is magical, you know, like I gotta know more of this. So after that, I started hearing the White Stripes because of the Seven Nation Army, which was my second song that I learned. My first song that I learned on the electric guitar, Seven Nation Army. So I went home and I also listened to the White Stripes, and they're pretty underrated. I mean, because that's the only song that people know. Yeah. But like, dude, it's like a great band. Like, I love the White Stripes. Like I know like all of their songs. I mean, we're big fans. Like together, like we both love them. But it was kind of like my first band, like a rock band in a way. So I started listening to them, and like for me, it was just like this whole other world was out there full of like rock music, you know, and guitars and drums and vocals, and I liked it, you know. So I started diving in deeper, and then I started discovering more bands like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses, which became my favorite, and it still is to this day. Guns N' Roses is my favorite, all-time favorite. And then I discovered like Kiss and more bands, and then I started getting more into different genres, you know, like metal and more subgenres and all of that.
Of rock,
And now it's just kind of, I'm at a point where like I know a little bit of everything, and I'm very comfortable with that. You know, I like listening to new types of music, and I'm still learning. You know, I like listening to new types of like genres and bands and artists and everything, discovering new artists and supporting, you know, like local talent, especially, and all of that.
What about you, Robert?
For me, it was when my parents introduced me to. They first introduced me to Kiss.
Yeah.
And Guns N' Roses, because my mom's a really big Guns N' Roses fan. So she introduced me to those bands, and from there I went like I looked up different bands, and I did my own research when I was little.
Oh, for reals?
It was like the thing that little kids do. They get in a YouTube video of what they like, and then they start getting the
playlist and everything. Like it shows you what's next or recommended.
What's next recommended and stuff. So yeah, I used that to like get into rock music.
Oh, okay.
And even now I still do that. And in Spotify I get recommended music, and I use Bandcamp. It's a really good way to discover upcoming artists or upcoming bands or bands that are earlier releasing their music. There's a lot of indie bands there too.
Oh, there's a lot of great indie bands. I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the questions that people ask. Like, is rock dead? But like, it's not. No, it's just that it's harder to find new bands because the mainstream right now is R&B, rap, and a bunch of other stuff. Like, that's the mainstream. To find like new rock, you really need to look for it.
I don't think any genre is dead.
Huh?
As long as there's people doing art and doing that specific genre, it's still in a way alive.
Yeah, but it's not as popular. That's like the what it means basically.
True, but like
it's still going on.
It's still going on.
Because like, well, for me, like one of my favorite bands from like that's new, whatever, or newish, is the Struts. I'm not sure you heard of them.
Oh, it's a really good band.
Yeah. So them, and then the one that's like gets made fun of a lot is the Greta Van Fleet, because they're basically called a Zeppelin copycat. Yeah.
But we like Greta Van Fleet.
We do like Greta Van Fleet. We actually look up to them because they're one of the bands that
or like keeping the style.
They're keeping the style. Because you know now we have like new artists like which artists? Like this artist like we don't really listen to new rock music. But like we do listen to what sounds classical or what sounds like rock music, because now there's like rappers in rock and there's like
it's mixed.
It's like a mix. It drifted up into different branches of what rock music is called, or what they consider rock music. But like, yeah, Greta Van Fleet is one of those bands we look up to because they keep the style.
Yeah.
They try to stick to that style, and it's like an original thing, even though they sound like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It's like an original thing, and like I said, we look up to them because we kind of want to do that same thing. Introduce what rock music used to be. Yeah. To the new generations of music, and we're still the new generation of music, but like we want to do that for the newer ones. So that's one thing we want to do.
That makes sense.
And that's what they're doing. So
the next question I was going to ask you guys is, who do you consider do you guys have like original music or no?
My band's making original music.
Like, who would you consider the main three influences to your style? Like, who creates the basis of your sound?
Oh, in Principium, we all have different artists we like, and each instrument, because it's me, guitarist, two guitarists, me and Chris, Jorge for drums, and Lincoln for piano and synth, and Rosendo, he plays bass. We all have different influences, and we try to get those influences, those techniques, styles, whatever you call them, and get it into our music. So you're gonna be able to hear different styles in and it's, in my opinion, it's like a new thing. Our music, I haven't heard any other band that does the same sound that we do, but like we're still like in the process of not recording, but like putting it out.
Yeah, because that was one of my concerns. Where like it's great that you're giving like the respect to these legends from the past, but like you guys also need to make like your own legacy.
Yeah, we have to make our own style too.
Yes.
Like, I was actually talking to her about it yesterday. I told her like I like learning about new guitar players, getting a thing or two of their style. Yeah. And basically make it my own. Like for example, I told you yesterday. I like let's say Ace Frehley from Kiss, Joe Satriani, the new guitarist I'm like obsessed with, John Petrucci. I'm trying to get those techniques and make it into one and make that my thing. Yeah. And she's trying to do the same thing. Yeah.
What about you? Like who do you consider like the three artists that would be like the basis of your sound?
Yeah. For me, like the basis of my style, it really consists of like Slash, of course, from Guns N' Roses, because like I said, my favorite band like all time is Guns N' Roses, because to me it's like what I was hearing, I went from like the White Stripes to the Beatles, which is more like, classic rock like that. And then when I heard Guns N' Roses, it was like a whole step higher, it's like hard rock. And it was like, I like that. It's aggressive, it's fast, and I like that, because I like being like fast and aggressive, it's like, it was just my thing, I liked it from the beginning. Yeah. So because of that, Slash's playing is very unique, it's like, it's not very like fast, because I know there's people that like are impressed by like shredding and all of that, and like it's nothing against them or anything, but like for guitarists, in general, like shredding is not impressive. It's not like it's better to play with feel, And I feel that's kind of what Slash portrays. He's not like a huge guitarist that plays shred or anything, but like he does things with feeling. He plays all these solos, and they become so famous because of that. Like they're everywhere.
Like November Rain.
People love them. Yeah, they're so catchy.
That has like 5 solos.
Yeah, it's so catchy. Like it's so catchy, and it's like it's just wonderful, And because of that, I feel like my style revolved around Slash for a long time, because it was like I was learning a bunch of Guns N' Roses songs, and I still do. With my band White Crow, we play Welcome to the Jungle and November Rain, because like we love those songs. It's Guns N' Roses classics, and it's cool.
And so you play the guitar part for that part, or?
Yes, I play the guitar
part. I mean, it's like what, 5 solos, isn't it? Or
yeah, it's like there's 2 main solos, and then there's like a solo at the end, kind of like yeah. So it's crazy, it's a cool song. Yeah. And basically, so Slash is like probably my favorite guitarist of all time, like my biggest influence. And then I was also getting into Mick Mars from Motley Crue. So Motley Crue is also like 80s, it's also like fast, aggressive music. And I like that, it's like upbeat, and I like upbeat stuff. So I got really into it. And Mick Mars has this style where it's like in between metal and like hard rock. It's like right in the middle. So it's like the perfect kind of thing. And like he shreds, but like not like in a like distorted way. Because I know there's people that just go at it like, but he shreds like in a way with feeling, and that's kind of what I like about it. So I also pick up a lot of things from him. And I guess my third one would also be like, I'm really into like Latin rock, so like Santana. For Santana. Me, like I learned his solo Corazón Espinado. It's one of the main songs that my band plays with Los Comebacks. So for me, when I learned that solo, it was like, dude, like, this is a whole different style. So ever since then, like you hear it in my playing, I'm playing something like improvising, and it's like you hear like the influence of Spanish rock music in there, and especially Santana, because I've played that solo so many times, countless
I think that's a great thing, because like when it comes to rock music, like when everything like the genre, you think a bunch of white people. Honestly, to be honest, it's considered like rock music's considered white people music. Yeah. So the fact that you guys are like Hispanics and you're doing rock music, I mean, that's great, because when people think of Hispanics playing rock music, the only person that comes up is Santana, and that's
Santana. Yeah, I mean, but there's great Spanish bands. Like we're big fans of Spanish rock, like Maná and Caifanes, Hombres G, Café Tacuba. We like all of that, it's good music. So
I need to learn about them, because like I need to add like more Spanish rock into my mix.
No, yeah, like Spanish rock is really cool, and I think like it also has its own style. It's very different from English rock,
How does it differ?
it's different because, you know, it's like a whole different feel. Like Spanish rock, it kind of feels like pop in a way.
Yeah.
It has like some pop influence in there. Like the heaviest you can probably get in Spanish rock would be like Rata Blanca, right? Probably. That's like as heavy as it gets. And like we see more in English rock, we have like heavy bands like Cannibal Corpse and like, you know, that are extreme like that. So it's like, it's a big difference. I mean, I'm sure there's Mexican bands out there that maybe do like death metal, stuff like that too. But I mean, that they're like famous. Not really, you know. Most of the ones that are like most famous are like pop rock or more like, how do you say? Like what's that type of rock called? Like Café Tacuba? It's like,
like, I think, I
like
don't really...
Very different kind
it's
of rock.
Like it's like a different kind of rock. It's like Mexican rock.
Okay.
That's its own genre itself, Mexican rock.
Yeah.
Café Tacuba, they have like their own Latin, Hispanic sound. And they actually have that's the type of band that you hear, and they have like a lot of influences from different genres, not artists, but like genres, because they play with vihuelas and they do different styles.
And like all sorts of
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's
because
really...
that's what I was going to ask you guys. Like, what instruments do they use to make Mexican rock?
Yeah. So
They
use everything, like
they
the
use-
trumpets and everything. It's very popular.
Yeah.
Like
They use different instruments. Like Café Tacuba, they use a lot of instruments. Even their bassist uses an upright bass.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really cool thing that they do.
it's like cool.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, I mean, when it comes to like the American stuff, like most American rock bands, like using guitar, bass, and a keyboard, maybe drummer and all stuff like.
Yeah.
And that band specifically, they think outside the box and they try new stuff.
It's good to keep that creative because, I mean, after a while, it gets kind of slow just hearing the same instruments over and over again.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when it comes to your future, what do you guys like? Where do you guys want to be? Like, let's say 5 years down the road, where would you want to see yourself?
Well, since I'm a senior, I'm kind of like also thinking about that a lot.
Yeah.
And I actually visited one of my top 3 colleges, one of them, yesterday, which was Corpus Christi. And I got to learn about what college is and what majors they offer and what's for me, what I want to do. Like, I look specifically into graphic design since this year, like, I realized I was really good at graphic designing.
Oh, for real?
Or designing. My dad does graphic design. He is a graphic designer. But like, I did my band's logo, and her band's logo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I do the little, the posts with the gig dates, the performances.
Yeah. The tour list.
I basically manage our social media, and I make everything.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
I was thinking I should do that. Like, my dad already does that, and I can in a way help him with his business, expand it or something. But I also want to minor in music industry, do the production, music business, and stuff like that, and integrate graphic design into music.
Yeah.
So that's like, I feel like that's what I want to do. Like,
so the
graphic
double
design
creative thing.
and music hand in hand. Like music industry and graphic design. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, that's really interesting. What about you? Like 5 years
for
down the
me,
road.
I'm kind of like not really sure what I want to do. But like as of now, my plan is, I just want to go to like a good college. Hopefully stay in Texas, because I like being close to the border, because a lot of my family is in Mexico and my family was here in the Valley. So I want to stay close to my family because I'm a very like family-oriented person. So I like being with my family a lot. And I feel it would be hard for me just to go upstate and kind of leave them behind. So I for sure want to probably stay here in Texas. And I'm thinking of studying architecture for now. Because I like to design things as well. I'm a very creative person and I'm really into like drawing and making stuff, building plans like that. So I feel architecture is a good thing for me, And I would also like to minor in music, maybe like music education or something like that. Like on the side job, I would kind of be like a music teacher or perform, with my band or whatever, like on the side. That's kind of how I see myself. But I for sure see myself pursuing music. Like music is just something that it's not a hobby anymore for me. It's more like a lifestyle type of thing.
Yeah.
And like we know, like it's just very important to me. It's like a big part of my life now. And because of that, I just kind of want to continue with that, forever. Just live on with it forever. Even when I'm an adult, I want to be able to have like my music studio in my own house, and be able to still be able to, just go out there and jam sometimes whenever I'm like just feeling it, Yeah, it's pretty much.
Yeah, because one struggle like that musicians here in the Valley tend to have is that you can't really live off the money of making music. Like you really need to you really have to have a passion for it, but like at the same time, like you do have to pay bills at the end of the day. So
so that's why we're trying to like get ourselves a degree,
plus
the music, and we're gonna go to college, study like I said, graphic design, and she's gonna do architecture. But like our main aim right now is do music, like performing music. We want to stay in what we already do, performing music, and see where it takes us. Yeah. And we don't really know if it fails or if we end up not doing anything out of it. We still have graphic design and architecture. It's like a backup plan. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have that backup just in case. You never know.
It's a backup. It's like something to fall back on. You know what I mean?
One thing I was wondering, like, since you guys are kind of like semi-famous in terms of like music, whatever. I mean, in the Valley, you are, you know, you have a little clout. Come on, let's be honest. You went to Telemundo. So one thing I wondered was, when it comes to your school experience, do you guys like ever get picked on or teased like, oh, this guy thinks he's all that because he's in this band?
God, yes. Not picked on, like negative,
like teasing.
Not teasing either. But like, well, yeah, in a way, teasing. Yeah. I don't take it as teasing. But it may be intended as teasing. My teacher, I hope he doesn't watch this. it's always like, hey Roberto, have you done gigs this year? I'm gonna go. Do you shred? Oh, like he asks questions like, he's like, oh, he puts on music during class, and let's say this shreddy solo comes up, and he's like, Roberto's gonna be doing this someday. He's gonna be like, I don't know if he's like being like.
No, he's just joking around.
He's probably just joking around, or he's probably really supportive. I don't know. Like he has a different tone.
Would you get embarrassed? Like let's say like he finds your account, like your YouTube or something, and like he starts putting that in front of the class.
Oh, they've done that to me so much.
I don't think he has like found my account.
Yeah.
But part of me thinks he has, because I never told him I was a musician.
Oh, for real?
I never told him I was in a band.
Oh wow.
People probably told him, but like not me.
What about you? Like, has that ever happened where like...
No, yeah, me too. And it's crazy because whenever my Telemundo interview came out, like my teacher started putting it on the projector and everybody was like, oh, that's Vivi. And I was like, oh, you know, like, and everybody was like, oh, and I was just kind of like, okay, like, thank you.
Do other people like ever like try to like make fun of you or like bully you like, oh, you think you're all that now? Because
like,
you're on TV now. You're doing all these gigs.
Yeah, but it's not that they think I'm all that. It's just that they consider me like weird because, you know, most people are like into just partying and like reggaeton music and that's like bien corriente. So like no one wants to, you know, it's like ew, like it's yucky, you know. And like you see someone different like playing rock music and to them it's just kind of like weirdo, you know. So a lot of the times they're just like, bro, like I said, like what are you doing, you know, like you play rock music and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, you like rock music, like you play and everything, and I'm just like, yeah, and they're like, they just like make a weird face, like they just think it's different because, you know, they've never seen somebody like
because it's rare. It's rare for younger people to be into rock.
It's weird for younger people to be into rock music. I mean, especially I guess like as a female too, they're just kind of like, that's weird, you know, like you're not normal, and I'm like, I like not being normal, you know. So it's pretty cool. But I mean, overall, like there is teachers that are very supportive. Like I have my teacher, Mr. Ibarra. I hope he watches this, and he's actually a local musician here too, and he helps me a lot. He actually was very kind enough to lend me a sound system as well. He's willing to lend me a sound system to perform with my band. So he's been very supportive too. And I also have my music teacher, Mr. O. And Mr. O is also very supportive, you know. He's always been there for me. And I play mariachi, you know, in the school too. Yeah. So it's like a great experience, you know. My teachers are supportive. But yeah, once in a while there's those kids that kind of like pick on me. But I don't really mind, you know. I mean, I just do my thing, you know. It's like whatever.
Out of curiosity, I was talking with Martin about this. Have you ever experienced like sexism or like being belittled because you're a woman playing rock? Because there's not many women... Like when it comes to like rock music, for example, one person they think about is either Blondie or Joan Jett.
Joan Jett, yeah.
But like that's it. Like there's no other names that you can really think of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Have you experienced that or no?
Sometimes, to be honest, like it happens a lot of the time where they're like, oh, you know, like I tell people I play guitar and they're like they laugh at me. They're like, oh, you don't, dude. Wow. Like, I mean, it's just kind of like, no, you don't, whatever. And then they see me play and it's just like, oh, you know, like she actually knows how to play. So it's pretty cool because I like to surprise people, you know, once in a while. It's like, oh, I play guitar and they're like, whatever. And then I play it and they're like, you know, that's cool. And it does happen to me pretty often sometimes, you know, where it's just kind of like people just kind of think, oh, like she's probably not even that good, you know, she's a girl, like what can she play?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because when we got into that conversation, it was kind of like, is it that there's less female playing rock music, or is it that a lot of them aren't getting the attention they deserve, or what? Like specifically here in the Valley though, because like when it comes to like female musicians, I can only think of you, my friend Nicole. There's a girl named Italia. She kind of plays like. Well, she doesn't play. She sings like, I know, like I'm gonna get like kind of like dunked on this, but like basically, like, I'm not a big fan of her music. Basically,
Yeah, I guess
she does she does rap music.
Yeah.
But like she incorporates anime stuff with it.
Oh, okay,
so
okay. Yeah. I know there's people that like anime and they make it part of like their music. I know friends like that too.
Does, like,
and it's cool.
She considers it kawaii rap.
Everybody does their own thing, you know.
And like
cool.
I'm not the demographic for that, so like I don't want to say like I'm making fun of her, but like
it's kind of
my thing.
It's
but,
different, like it's not your style, and it's fine. Like
so like when it comes to like female musicians, I can only think like 3 or 4 of you, and the rest of them are all guys. So like, do you think is it part of like because not many women are interested into that, or is it just they're not getting attention, or what do you think it is?
I feel like not a lot of women are interested into it, and I feel maybe a lot of women also may be like scared. Yeah. Because I remember in the beginning, like you've seen me, I'm always scared. You know, before I go on stage, I'm scared. I'm like, what if people laugh at me? You know.
Yeah.
I'm always like, it's always that fear you have. You know, it's kind of like that tension because you feel like, you know, like what if people say something about me, you know, or what if they think I'm different, or what if, you know, it's like a whole different world. So I feel there may be a lot of people out there, women especially, you know, that are, or girls, young girls, that are scared of, you know, starting to play music, especially rock music, because it's mostly like male dominated and it's like aggressive and all of that. But honestly, I think like if there's someone out there who really wants to do it, you know, you should just go for it and just do it, you know, because like it's gonna pay off in the future, like, you know, and you'll realize and you're like, I love what I'm doing, you know, I love being different, you know, and it's cool to inspire other women, especially other young girls. For me, especially, like I like on my Instagram, like sometimes when I get like comments from like little girls or like women saying that I inspire them, it's just like, you know, like I'm doing it right.
Feeling,
you know? I like to, because it's like, that's cool, you know, I like to inspire other women, other girls to get into rock music as well and, you know, grow the women in rock industry. And I think it would just be great to have more female musicians join in. And it's just overall great, you know, and eventually in the future for it to be like more normalized for female to be like in rock music. And
what about you, Robert? Like, have you ever seen that, like, where guys kind of like, I mean, as guys, you know, we kind of mess around with people we know we can mess around with, like girls, whatever, like once in a while we'll like, tease them. Have you ever seen that where like certain women like get, how do you call it? I guess like kind of like, not belittled, but like kind of push aside, like, oh, what do you know? Like, have you seen that or no?
Personally, no.
Yeah, no?
I haven't seen that, not in my case. I went to a music school, and it was like kind of like varied. There were guys and girls, and well, I know Vivi.
Yeah.
And there hasn't really been any conflict or anything that guy says it to a girl that is a musician.
Yeah.
We're actually all friends, so we all support each other.
That's a good.
I think gender is a side thing, but like music is for everyone.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because it's one of the few like things that like men and women can both do. Because like normally there's some biological differences where guys tend to be a little bit stronger than women. But like when it comes to instruments, anybody can do that. Anybody can play guitar, a piano, drums, or anything like that.
Yeah, anyone can play.
Yeah.
What they want, what genre they want, and yeah, just have fun. Just have fun with it and go for it. You don't have to think about gender because that's not even relevant to music.
Yeah.
I mean, in rock music, there's females, there's girls playing music like Joan Jett. Vivi herself is right here, and she's a really good musician. Look at her studio. It's like there's a lot of instruments here.
Nice.
Her sisters play music too.
Yeah.
And even at School of Rock, there's female teachers that play instruments, and at her school too. And well, yeah, I think it's more like a.
So it's more of an interesting, or
it's
what?
more like an interest.
Yeah, because I think they like other like when it comes to like what genre women dominate, it's obviously pop. There's so many. Like, I mean, the main one right now is Taylor Swift. She absolutely dominates pop, and you also have Ariana Grande and a bunch of other females. Like that's one genre where they really excel at.
But if you think about rock music, there's Paramore.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bands that people can listen to, and they have female singers or musicians in their bands. So it's I think it's more like it is an issue that people belittle them, discriminate. But like, I think it's getting better.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so you think it is kind of an interesting because otherwise you would see more rock women. I mean, how many male guitarists can you name like out of the top of your head compared to female guitarists?
Oh, a lot.
Exactly.
Honestly.
That's the thing. Like that's what I always wonder. Like, is it like sexism? Like I'm pretty sure there is that, and then there's also the interesting where maybe they like some other genres.
But if you think about it, when we name guitarists or musicians, we think about musicians that are back from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Back then, they didn't really think about that gender issue.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe in the future, people are going to start naming
and I would absolutely love that. Like, if there's more women in rock, hey, why not?
Yeah.
They can introduce like a different dynamic because, I mean, their experiences and what men experience tend to be a little bit different, so they can tell their own stories and make it tell their own stories, And
that's starting to happen, like, literally right now. And as years went on, like even like back in the 2010s, like with Paramore.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah, people are already doing that, and I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, it's starting to become more normalized, and I like that. You know, it's cool that women are getting out there, you know, and joining it. Yeah.
So besides rock, what do you guys actually listen to? Like other genres besides rock or any subgenre of rock?
Okay, so like subgenres of rock, like everything from like, you know, all types of metal, all types of rock, alternative rock, post-punk, new wave.
Like besides rock, anything like related to rock, what else?
Anything besides rock?
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess Spanish rock kind of on the side. And I'm also a really big fan of like Spanish pop in a way. Like, you know, its own thing. And I mean, of course, like Mexican, you know, the Mexican side of me loves cumbias and like corrido, rancheras, all of that. It's fun to have that. And I'm also in mariachi, so I'm really into like mariachi music. Like Mexican cultural music is very important to me. I mean, and I used to be into pop when I was smaller, but like right now, I don't really listen to pop or rap or like any of the mainstream music. I mostly just do rock and like my Mexican music, you know, like
so that tends to be your main focus though, right?
My main focus, yeah, but obviously my main focus is rock, and like my favorite is, I would say, like hard rock, like 80s rock. I like metal and I like soft rock and everything, but like my main is just like 80s hard rock, you know, like Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, all of that.
Yeah, because I've seen your Instagram and both of you guys like post your music and I'm like, oh wow, it's really interesting how you guys are young, but like also playing all this classic rock.
Yeah.
Giving like the honor to these basically like icons of rock. And how did you guys feel about the guy the drummer who passed away for Foo Fighters?
Oh, that was it was crazy. It was like 2 days ago, right?
It was 2 days ago. I was actually, that day I came to her house to practice for this interview.
Okay.
We were together.
We were together that day, and I went home, and we were getting ready to get in bed, and I sent her a message. Maybe the drummer. I couldn't even text. I couldn't even type. I was like, maybe drummer Taylor died. That's literally what I sent.
It was like, I wasn't even on my Instagram, so I wasn't even checking.
And then I couldn't really type, so I sent her the post that I saw.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And it was really sad. It was really sad because that's one of the modern rock bands of our generation. Because, you know, our parents have their own generation of music. Foo Fighters was like one of our generation.
Yeah, it's 90s, 2000s, whatever.
2000s. And we grew up with it. We still do. Dave Grohl. And I told her that day I told her, damn, Foo Fighters, it's not gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
Taylor Hawkins, it's not gonna be with them, and we never got to see Foo Fighters completely. Yeah. There's gonna be one missing spot, so that's really sad.
And it was a young age. I mean, he was just 50. I mean, that's in terms of like the different rock musicians who are like the past, like they're still alive. I mean, Steven Tyler's birthday was yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
74, and Taylor Hawkins, sorry, Taylor Hawkins, sorry. Yeah. He was just 50. I mean,
it's crazy, and it's especially really sad. We feel really bad for Dave Grohl because, you know, Dave Grohl started Foo Fighters because of Kurt Cobain's death, you know, as a way to like cope, you know, move on. So he started Foo Fighters, and Foo Fighters, like, it's crazy because, I mean, Dave Grohl being a drummer originally, like transferring to guitar and to vocals.
He tried to move on from
what he was in Nirvana. From what he was in Nirvana, you know, change and everything and do something different. And Foo Fighters, like, as a surprise, it was a big hit, you know. You would expect usually, like, you know, when bands try to, like, do something else, it kind of, like, doesn't work out. But it did, you know, it's a huge thing, and we were like big fans of Foo Fighters and everything. Like in our bands, we play songs of Foo Fighters and everything. So,
and then Taylor Hawkins.
And then it just happened. So it was crazy because I mean, recently we had like I was looking at like live shows that they were doing, and they were actually on tour. Like they were like literally in the middle of the tour, and I know they just had canceled it and everything. So
in The Warning and stuff.
They performed with The Warning, which is like another upcoming rock band of three sisters from Monterrey, Mexico.
They're, for us?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to check them out too.
We're big fans of them. Yeah, they play like hard rock music, and they're really cool. So I just had heard they performed with them like 2 days ago actually, and then it's sad because I mean he just passed away out of nowhere, and it's very sad because we will never be able to see Foo Fighters complete. I hope that's good for Dave Grohl, you know. I hope.
And if you look at videos, Taylor, he was
the spirit. Like,
he was the spirit.
Yeah, he was a really fun guy.
He was the one that gave Foo Fighters the vibe. I mean, Dave Grohl is really good, but Taylor Hawkins, he was the one with the beat.
Yeah.
And well, if you look at videos of days before he passed, he was really healthy. He looked really healthy to me. He looked really hype.
He was always energetic. Yeah.
He was really energetic with what he was gonna do, and he still had a long way to go. Yeah, for sure. And it's sad that
have they announced like what he passed away with from or no? Because I haven't checked up on that.
They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't. They just said he passed away at a hotel in Bogota, Colombia.
Yeah.
And they were gonna cancel the gig, the entire tour, and that's it.
He was having chest pain or something like that.
Yeah, people are saying he was having chest pain, probably heart. I don't know. I don't want to assume.
Yeah, because he was a really good, like, he was really energetic and really young and really fit. So I mean, I was starting to wonder like maybe it was like a type of cancer or something. But yeah, okay.
Something that they didn't tell the public.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And going back to what you were talking about, Mexican influences, has there ever been like influences in towards like rock, like getting like aspects of Mexican music and incorporating it into your sound? Because again, let me continue on. Because from when I first met you guys here, you guys speak more Spanish than English.
Yeah.
And most people, like when they think of our generation, like it's more English than Spanish. Mm-hmm. How has it, like that influenced you guys?
I mean, well, for us, it's like both of our families are Mexican, so like they speak Spanish to us all the time, and like so we grew up on Spanish rock, because that's like pretty much all our parents listen to. Yeah. They like English rock too, but like their main thing is Spanish rock, of course. So it's always playing in the house, and because of that, I feel we picked up like Spanish influence, from music and from language and everything and culture and everything. And it's cool to see it like being implanted to music. For example, there's this really cool song by Caifanes called La Negra Tomasa, which is like it's a cumbia, but it's like rock.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's the best of both worlds, and like we love it. And we went to go see Caifanes live. So when we saw it live, it was like, this is it. Like
when that song when they started playing that song, you don't know if you should dance or rock
on
to it.
Yeah. So you're like dancing cumbias, but like rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun though. It's like cumbia rock. It's I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
It's just different and it's fun. And
where do you see these bands? Like, do you actually go to Mexico or do they perform here?
No, they come here. We saw Caifanes in Café Tacuba, and I saw El Tri and Kiss. They come here.
Where do they perform exactly here? Like where?
At the different arenas here, Bird Ogden, Pain Arena.
Oh, okay, so I never hear about them. That's why I'm trying to find out because I want to see them.
Caifanes and Café Tacuba, we saw them at the McAllen Performance Center.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a really cool experience.
Okay, I need to check up on them because like this stuff
it's totally
really
different.
Cool.
Yeah, it's totally a different vibe. Because you go to, let's say, you go to see Kiss, and there's like metalheads.
Oh yeah.
There's rockheads or rockers, punk rockers. Everyone that likes Kiss, everyone.
Because they're really popular. So I mean.
But like when you go to, let's say, Caifanes, there's there's just people. There's just our people there. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's so yeah.
Pura raza. It's like pura RGB.
Yeah.
It's like, you see like Mexicans and you see all types of people too, but it's mostly like Hispanics, it's
Spanish.
our music, it's so special to us.
That don't listen to rock go to Caifanes.
Yeah, people, because it's so respectable. It's like a band, it's just such a big thing, and it's cool. Like Spanish rock will always like influence, like, it's amazing. We love it so much. It's very special to us.
I really need to check that out because, I mean, like I want to, like when it comes to like Spanish rock, like the only ones I hear is Santana or Mana. I mean, because they're really popular. But like to hear like these upcoming bands, like I haven't heard of them, so like I really want to check them out. So make sure you give me a list afterwards.
For sure, yeah.
So the last question I want to ask, because I mean I don't know how much time you guys have available. Like, did you guys have a time limit or no?
No, we can continue if you want.
Okay, just making sure. So I'm trying to think of other questions I could think of. So like, how did you guys meet basically?
Oh.
Was it just through music classes or like?
No, it was like meant to be. It sounds crazy. I don't know. It sounds cheesy.
Yeah.
But it kind of was meant to be. It really was. If you think about it, let me tell you the story.
Okay, go for it.
So my mom, I played music already.
Yeah.
I was already like playing music normal. I was already like mid on music, and she was really trying to get me into creative art studio.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I want to learn on my own. I already have a teacher going.
Yeah.
This teacher would go to my house, and I really liked that. I was like, I don't have to go and meet other students.
Yeah, it's part of being introverted. Yeah.
Honestly, I really like when a teacher gives me the attention.
Like private.
Yeah.
Private attention. Because if you go to music school, there's not gonna be a lot of students, and
yeah,
I guess that's different. That's not my type of learning. So my mom was like, you should go to creative art studio. You should go to creative. I was like, no. And she actually mentioned there's like many rock bands there, like The Switch. There's this other band, But like I remember she mentioned The Switch, and I was like, no, I don't want to go. And I was like, I want to learn on my own with my teacher. That's what I want to do. I'm doing good with my teacher. Why would I want to go to music school? And she was like, okay. And then summer comes up. And she was like, guess what? You're going to go to a summer camp managed by Augusto Contreras from Creative Art Studio. And I was like, wait, no, you didn't tell me about this. She didn't tell me about it.
So she just signed you up?
He just signed me up without my permission. And that was really, it's really funny now, but like back then I wasn't trying to go. I didn't want to go. And so I ended up going. And I met Augusto there from Creative Art Studios, and I met her teacher, Oscar Chirino.
Yeah.
And he was the music teacher at that summer camp. And that summer camp was at the incubator, at the McAllen incubator. Yeah, that was at the McAllen incubator. So it wasn't really at her school. It was at the incubator, which is a different school from Creative Arts, right?
It's like different location.
It's a different location. So I went there. And so I played music. I did like, I think a week of that summer camp before I quit. before I stopped going. But like during that week, I met Chirino and Augusto. And I went to Chirino's little workshop session class he had.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn, you're really good. It seems like you're really into music. It seems like you're really into your guitar. And it seems like you really want to do that for a living. Not for a living, but like...
You could see like...
It wasn't just like a thing just to do it, but like you actually had a passion for it.
He was like, you should join one of my rock bands. And I was like, you have rock bands? And I was like, yeah, I work... Yeah, because I didn't really know what the summer camp was yet. He was like... So he explained to me. So this summer camp is managed by Augusto Contreras, which is the director of Creative Art Studios. So you can easily go over there and join one of their bands.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm inviting you, so you can go in for free if you wanted to. And I was like, sure, I'm gonna try. I've never really tried a rock band or a band. I was really on my own until that point. And he introduced me to Augusto, and Augusto was like, sure, you can come visit us, and we're gonna give you like a tryout, like a free class.
Yeah.
So you can check it out, and if you like it, you can stay, and if you don't like it, you can go. And I was like, sure, I'm gonna go because I want to try. I know before I said I didn't want to like go to that music school.
Yeah.
But the teachers were really cool, and
so that's what made you change your mind. The teachers.
So I went to that music school, and I went to the trial class that they gave me, the little rock class, and I met Chirino again there. So I played some songs with little kids, and
You're playing Sweet Child of Mine.
I was playing Sweet Child of Mine, and then and then you knocked on the door. She knocked on the door.
Yeah.
And Chirino walked out, and I was like, he told me, wait here with the kids. You can play a song if you want. I'm gonna go. I talked to Vivi, and I was like, okay, I'll wait for you. And he left, and then came back, and he said, I want to introduce you to someone that has the same interests as you, and the same interests, and her name is Vivi. And I turned, she was there, and she was like, hi. She was like, hi.
I was like, what? How
she was
12?
12 and I was 13.
Yeah, like super little.
And I remember vividly, she didn't ask her, what guitar do you play? And she was like, oh, I play a Fender. And I was like,
yeah, like,
I was like,
at first it was like we kind of, not we hated each other or anything, but it was like I saw him because I remember I was walking down the hall of the little music school, and I like at the time I was like, I mean, not to like brag or anything, but I was kind of like the best guitarist at the music school, so I was like, oh, I'm cool, I can like play the best. And I was like, I used to know Sweet Child of Mine, so I was like, it was the song, my favorite song and everything. And I used to play that song with the band, so I was walking down the hallway, and I remember I heard the little intro of Sweet Child of Mine, and I was like,
who's playing that?
Who's playing that? That doesn't sound like, I was like, that doesn't sound like a teacher. That's my song. So then I went in, I remember I knocked on the door, and I was like, let me see. So I walked in, and I saw him there, and I was like, he's better than me. And so I was like, he's so cool, like he can play just like me. So I was like, whoa, so I met him. And then Chirino was like, I wanted to meet him. He's new. And I was like, hey. And we like talked to each other.
Yeah.
And it was for a brief moment, and I showed him my Fender.
Yeah, Chirino was like, what guitar do you play? She was like, I play a Fender. That's the tone I remember. She claims she meant it in a different way. But no, I remember she said, I play a Fender. And I was like, and I looked at my Epiphone, my little Epiphone, like the Epiphones that come in your starter pack. And I was like, damn. I really do. I do play this Epiphone. I play the Epiphone. I play Epiphone. Yeah. And she was like, I play Fender. And I was like, okay. Thank you. And so that's one thing that I didn't like at school. It's not that I feel intimidated, but like I was like, she plays a Fender. She's probably better than me. So I'm not even going to try. So I left. Okay. I left that school and I didn't come back. And I think it was months after that I joined School of Rock. Yeah. And the second time I saw her, the second time I saw her was when I saw David's band, David Gutierrez's band. Yeah. It was Texas Ramblers. It was like they were called Texas Ramblers. I went to this small venue that was at close here, Hidalgo, called Baron Rosso.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
It's not a thing anymore. Sadly, it was a really cool venue.
Yeah.
It was also a pizza place. It was really good. And so they would play music there, and I saw David's band with Martin Leon.
Yeah.
And other musicians that were part of that band. And I saw her come in. I was like, "That's the girl that showed me their. That's the Fender girl. That's the Fender girl." And I remember. And if you ask my mom, she looked at me. She didn't know what was happening. She didn't know. But she saw me that I was like kind of like, "Gosh, she's right there. She's gonna." And I was like, and I turned. I was like, "Mom, can we go home? Can we go home? I want to go home."
We were like scared of each other because like I was like, "He's better than me," and she's like, "No, he's better than me." So
I was like,
"Oh, like you know."
I was like, "Mom, I want to go home. Can we go home?" She was like, "Sure. Let's just let them finish that song and we'll go home." And we went home. And fast forward, I was with Skull Rock, and we were gonna perform at Borderfest the day before.
The day before COVID, like
the day before COVID, literally. And I saw her there, and I saw she was taking a video of me while I was playing, and I was like, "Oh, maybe she's not that.
she's not that bad.
maybe she's not that bad. Maybe she's nice. She's supportive because she's recording me. I guess she's really nice, but like it's too late. I'm not gonna talk to her anymore because we don't even have that connection anymore. I went to a different school, so."
Yeah, there was no more of that social connection. Yeah,
there wasn't a social connection. So yeah, COVID happened, and but I was still like, the day I met her at after the summer camp, she didn't know, gave me her handle for her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I was still like subscribed to her YouTube. Not stalking. I was just a normal subscriber.
Yeah.
Every time she would post, unless you think all subscribers are stalkers, but like I don't think that's. I was just a normal subscriber.
Yeah.
So I subscribed to her channel when he told me about it. So fast forward back to Borderfest, I saw her and I was like, "Oh, that's the girl from YouTube," and that's also the girl that showed me the Fender. The Fender guitar. That's
the girl.
That will stick with you forever. The Fender.
That stuck with me forever. And months after that, or weeks after that, I think. She started her Instagram account. Yeah. And I'm really into Instagram. That's my main social media platform that I use for music. I post videos and I post performances and different pictures and whatever and whatnot. And she started her Instagram and I was like, I'm not gonna follow her right now because then I was like, overthink. I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Don't worry about it, man.
I was like, if I follow her Instagram right after she posted a video, she's probably gonna think I'm a stalker. And she's probably gonna think I'm doing.
And she did after all.
And she did after all. and let me tell you why, because days after I said, okay, now it's time to follow. I have to know more about this girl.
Yeah.
So I followed, and I liked one of her videos, and the video that made me talk to her was a The Warning cover. It was Narcisista by The Warning. It was a cool solo that I liked, and she posted and I commented. And she hadn't followed me yet. Yeah. So I commented, "Hey, I really like your solo. I really like how you play. I think we have the same style. You want to follow me too?" Like I was like, okay. Because I wanted her to notice me too.
What was your reaction when you saw that comment?
I mean, when I saw that comment and I was like, well, I always got comments like that. You're like, "Oh, that's so cool," and I was like, "Oh, well, thanks." I didn't even bother to follow back because like I didn't really follow back most of the time. I would just be like, "Oh, thanks," I would just reply. And then he's like, "You should follow me too. I also play like rock stuff," and I was like, "Oh, checked it out." And then I remember when I clicked the profile, like I was scrolling down and I saw like the curly hair and I was like,
that's the kid from school.
That's the kid that was playing Sweet Child of Mine. I was like, I knew it was him. But I didn't want to tell him like, "Hey, are you that kid?" Because I was like, what if it's not that kid? And then he's gonna make it awkward, like me overthinking. I was like, okay, no. So I followed him and I was like watching his videos, he would post and sometimes he would react to stories and I would just like the messages. Like it was chill. And then I was like, one day we were talking, it was kind of late. Like we started talking about some guitarists or something like that. And then I was like, oh, I want to ask you a question, but I don't want it to be like creeped out or anything. But I was like, are you that kid? Like that.
I denied it.
You didn't. You were like.
Yeah. And she asked me, Are you the kid from School of Rock? I think you were the kid from. And I was like, School of Rock? No, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what made you like so shy about that? Like not wanting to admit that.
The fact that she showed me her Fender.
You still.
Okay. After she showed me her Fender, which is like one of the. We were little kids.
Yeah. No, so, but what made you deny it? Like telling her, like, no, I'm not that guy.
Because I was like, no, because then she's gonna like plug it back to where I didn't show up to classes.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no, I'm not a tutor because then it's embarrassing that I didn't come back just because of that. So, but yeah, she was like, are you the kid? And it didn't really last. Yeah. Probably an hour later, I was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, sorry that I lied. It's really obvious. It's me. Yeah. Whatever. And we kind of like.
And to
talked.
confirm, I asked him like, "Did you play at Borderfest?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, oh, "Okay." Like
That gave it away.
Yeah. So
That gave it away. Damn.
because I was like, "What if he's like?"
Oh man.
near that?
She knows who I am.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
So I we started talking more and more until we became close friends.
We were
And
best friends.
we were best friends, and then we started dating.
Oh, that's cool.
Natural. And now we're here.
And we're still best friends. Like it's like my other half, you know. We're like
so, like,
super
what,
chill.
what
like,
was your half of, like, he told his story, but, like, what was your side of the story, like, in towards meeting him and then actually...
Yeah, so I asked him, like, "Are you that kid?" And he was like, "No, I'm not that kid." And I was like, "Oh, so awkward, like, he's probably like, "Who the heck is that?"
Yeah.
So then eventually he's like, "You know what? I am that kid." And I was like, "Oh, like, I knew it, And then it was funny, like, we always laugh about how we found each other like that. And it was just funny, so we would laugh about it. And, like, it was cool because, like, I had always wanted to, like, have, like, a friend that likes rock because it was rare to find, like, people that like rock music. And, like, he liked exactly the same bands I liked. And, he was doing the same thing, playing guitar. So it was like, hey, I like that. So it was like, we became like the bestest friend ever. We would like listen to all the songs together.
Amazing.
We were like, we still are, dude. Like we're like, like super close. So we like listen to all the bands and like we're like, oh, I like this band here, and we would show each other new music and like and just talk like that about guitarists, and we would like spend hours talking about like literally like hours like from the beginning of the day all the way to like midnight, just talking about our favorite guitarists and our interests. Like we would like have like 10-hour long conversations. Like it was crazy. And we just started talking more and more like that. I mean, and till this day, like we still talk a lot because it's like, it was just crazy to find somebody like who was sharing my similar interests, And I feel that's kind of what made me like.
Because it's really rare to like find someone with a similar interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the similar interest the similar issue because like for me, like I'm interested like in really like for me it's like financial education. Yeah. And it's very rare for like people my age to be like into like credit cards, how to handle money and all that stuff. And it wasn't until I met this girl, I had interviewed her name's Nicole, very smart girl. And like, she had like all these same similar experiences as myself. I'm like, wow, like I'm not dating her or anything, but like it felt good like knowing that someone else is out there that has a similar interest.
And it's really good to have someone to talk to about with the same interest, because then you ask her for advice and she asked me for advice. Like I remember I asked her, should I join this band Principium? Because Lincoln, our keyboard player, he was asking me if I wanted to join. And I was like, yeah, go for it. And I was like iffy about it because I knew they were going to my school, but like they weren't really in my grade level, and I never really talked to them before, so I was really iffy about it. And she was the one that was like, go for it, you should do it, you should try it out. And she knew I was like introverted and I didn't like meeting new people or talking to new people, but like she kind of helped me get over that. She helped you like,
break the show or whatever. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, like, if you're able to like help each other out, and you have like, she has like certain strengths that you don't have, and then you have certain strengths that she doesn't have. You're able to like bond and help each other out with that. Yeah, that's great.
She asked me for advice on. We ask each other for advice on gear, on musician, on how to play this, how to play that, or what bands do you like at the moment, what bands do you want to recommend me, and stuff like that. And sometimes we search up bands that come to the valley so we can go. Watch them together. We go to concerts together. We'll try to be first row, and if we're not first row, we go all the way.
We have this trick. Okay, like
we wait to the encore. We wait to the encore.
Yeah, we wait to the end. Like we kind of have this trick where we always just get like the backseat tickets or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have this trick, like whenever like the crowd is hyped up and everybody's standing up, we're just kind of like
we merge our way
through the front, and then we were like super close to the stage, and the police guards are always like, go back to your seat, go back to your seat. And we're like, this is our seat. Like we're in first row, we're like, this is our seats.
Yeah.
And then we just stay there the rest of the concert. And it's so cool.
And it's really that's a really efficient way to get to the seats that are more in front, because we got to fist bump two famous musicians.
Oh wow!
And we almost got a picture with the guy finance drummer, but he also got kicked out.
Yeah.
Remember, he got kicked out. The guards took him away.
Dang.
He was being too friendly with us. We wanted that picture.
Yeah, but at least we got a fist bump him. So.
At least we got a fist bump.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, do you guys ever get like not taken as seriously because you guys are like really young and you're playing music? Have it like the ways to like either you could be taken that seriously because you're young, or people could appreciate you more like for liking classic rock music because you're young. Like, has there ever been like either or experience or both of them?
Well, in reality, I don't think that's a thing for us anymore. Not really, but still in a way,
like
just a little.
Like 12, 13.
Yeah.
Now that we're like over 15, it's just kind of like
people start taking it seriously.
Teenagers.
Okay. Yeah, because I wonder like how audiences would react to you, like, oh, they're just kids, whatever. Like they're just playing their music.
Yeah, no, we're almost not kids anymore.
Yeah, I say kids because I'm older than you guys, so I'm like, yeah, you guys are still kids, whatever.
Yeah.
So now none of the experiences. Okay. So what about like, what has been like your greatest onstage experience?
Oh, my greatest onstage experience. Probably, well, not probably, because it is playing with Principium is probably my best experience that I've had before since School of Rock. School of Rock was good. We got to play at bigger venues than I ever did with Principium. Like we opened for the Liverpool Legends at the I think Edinburgh Auditorium. So that was really cool. That was a really big venue filled with people. But even then, I don't think that was my best performance or best experience until I joined Principium, because me and Principium, we have like this chemistry together. Yeah. Like I think we stopped thinking of each other as friends, or they stopped thinking of me as as just a stranger who was really good at music. And and I think we're all brothers now. We think of each other as brothers because we fight a little. We discuss and we asked each other about stuff. Yeah, we're brothers basically. Yeah. Brothers in music. Yeah, because when I saw you guys in Westlook at the Eatery, you guys really had that chemistry on stage. Like you guys look like brothers. Yeah. Yeah, and people have said that before, especially between me and Chris. They asked me, "Are you guys brothers?" But like, because supposedly, according to them, we look alike. I don't think so. He's really different from me. I need to look at the pictures just to see like a comparison. But no, you guys did have that synergy. What about you? Like, what has been like when like in terms of gigs or onstage experiences? What has been like the best one you had so far? Yeah, like for me, like same thing with him. I've played at like big venues. Like I remember I played for Ramon Ayala's Posada one time, and like we've also gone to Ramon Ayala's house personally with the mariachi. To play with mariachi because I also do mariachi. So, but like as in like my rock band kind of thing. You know, I've also played like bigger venues and everything. But actually, like the day before COVID, like it was a Sunday. Like you know how Borderfest is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We played on Sunday, so it was like the very last day, the very last day. And I remember like, and I'm actually really like prideful of it because it was like I made the most out of the last day before everything went down, you know. And I was able to say, you know, I enjoyed the last day because I know there was a lot of people like, oh, I wish I could have done that. Yeah. For me, it was like I did everything, you know, because it was that peak. It was perfect, because it was Sunday. I remember it was like 7 or 8 at night. It was probably 8. Like it was already darker. I remember, and like the Borderfest, like the tents were like already closing, and we were like the last band to like literally perform. So you know, we got on stage and we were playing, and our set was normal. And then we would get to one of like our last songs, which I think was this was with the Switch, by the way. Okay. Like the Switch, the original Switch. Our last show too, by the way, because after that, you know, we just kind of Martin had mentioned that. And I think we were playing. I think it was Corazón Espinado actually. Yeah. And no, it was El Sol No Regresa by La Quinta Estación. Okay. That song. It's like a pop song, you know, that song. So we were playing it, I remember, and like you know, the crowd was just there. It was just our parents and a few other people, but like I said, it was already closing down, so like everything was kind of getting. People were just like there, waiting to leave, whatever. And then this lady comes out of nowhere, like she just like goes into our little tent and she starts like vibing and she's like, I love that song. And she starts jumping and she's like, she makes everyone just start dancing and everyone starts dancing and it's crazy. Like people just stand up from their seats. Our parents, like I've never seen our parents like that. Our parents are dancing and there's even like a teacher throwing a water bottle. Like it went crazy, dude. Like everybody was like, there was people like going all out. People just started like kind of like giving us the attention. And for the first time, I think that was the time for me that I felt like, you know, like I want to do this, you know, like this is what being a rock star feels like, you know. And I was like, I liked it, you know. I liked like the people being happy. I like seeing the energy from the crowd. It was like, I want to do this more often, you know. So I feel for me that was just the greatest moment. So I remember like seeing all the people standing up and dancing. To me, it was like made me, you know, like play my guitar harder. You know, I was like strumming full way. And I mean, and then after that, you know, that night I went home like with a smile on my face, like satisfied, you know, like, oh, you know, I want to do this forever, you know, I want to do this again. And then the next day? And then the next day, everything closed down. So, I mean, and I'm going back there. Now I'm with my new band, White Crow, which is my recent band. We started like last year in December, so we're pretty recent, you know. We haven't had our first show yet, but we are going to have our first show in Borderfest. Oh, actually, awesome. So. Borderfest, the one that's coming up, right? Yes. So it's like aside from my music school, this is like a separate band. And we're doing very well, you know. We're excited to like debut. Our like first show, and we're just really excited, you know, just to put ourselves out there. And our genre is like more hard rock, 80s, kind of what I like, because we all kind of share that interest. And it's gonna be really cool, you know. We're starting off with covers, but we're really looking forward to making original music and all of that. So check that out, you know. Make sure the one thing I wanted to hear you guys for sure is make sure you record this music and like put it on Spotify, Amazon Music, and all that stuff. Because one issue I always had with the other musicians here in the Valley is like, they perform their music, but they never recorded it and put it on Spotify. And like I wish you guys could put it on Spotify so I can listen to it on my own, because sometimes I can't make it to concerts or any of your gigs. So like I would love to just hear it recorded on Spotify. My band actually we started recording our music or original music at the studio recently, and we just finished actually. And we're just in the process of mixing and sending our notes to the producer so that he can fix our music the way we like it. Shout out to Widowmaker Studios and Josh Lopez. He's a really cool guy, And yeah, he's a really good producer. We really like the way our music turned out at his studio.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're about to finish the process of mixing, and we're gonna start the process of uploading our music to YouTube, Bandcamp, Apple Music, whatever platform people listen to. And yeah, that's gonna be out.
Is there like a specific target date or no?
There's no specific target date to like there's no like how do you call it?
There's no
official date to like. There's no release date yet.
Yeah.
We're still getting stuff ready. Like we're thinking, we're like every single day we have ideas on the cover of our EP, on the order of our songs, and how to aesthetically make our EP.
Are they going to make you the graphic designer for the album or what?
Well, they asked me to do it actually.
Yeah.
They sent me pictures and he said, "Can you edit this into our cover?" And all I do is change the color into purple and the lighting, fix the lighting, fix everything, and make it as unique. Presentable as possible, as unique as possible, and as usable as possible as a cover. I want people to look at it and say, okay, that's a really cool band. That's I want to listen to it, and I want people to feel attracted by our image and of our cover, basically. Yeah. So I'm trying to make it so that happens, and they send me pictures, like very random pictures actually. Like one of the pictures that I did was a Sonic drawing. I showed it to her. It's a really funny Sonic drawing. Yeah. It was like a joking kind of thing, and I was like, I edited it, and it doesn't. It looks good. It's funny. Yeah. And I sent it to the boys. This should be our EP cover. Like kidding, and they were like, "You're a genius." Oh my god. We should like keep that. And I was like, I was kidding. Yeah. And they were like, oh, what? They were like, whatever. And then days after, Chris sends me a picture of. I'm not gonna spoil. Okay. He sends me a random picture. And he was like, "Can you edit this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna edit." And I did it, and it looks good. Everything. We have like we have different pictures that we like that is gonna make up the cover and our image of our first EP, because it's really important to think about what we want it to look like. Because it's our first EP. It's the first thing people will see when they go into our YouTube or it's going to be Spotify. Your first impression. We have to like make it look cool so that people like it. You know what I mean? And well, yeah, that's one thing we're trying to do at the moment. Figure that out. Get that ready for release. Set a date. Yeah. Promote and release. When that happens, I would love to have like all of your band on the podcast. It would be kind of hard to do because I mean, like right now, like my girl is like it's 1-on-1. But like I would like I figure it out. Sometimes like, we can figure it out. We can figure it out. Pass it around. Yeah, because there's what, like 5 of you guys or 6? It's 5 of us. 5 of us. So I mean, we'll figure it out. What about you? Like, is your band planning to like record music and release it, or?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're just starting, so we're starting with covers. Yeah. And like we are working on, we have written some like riffs or like drum tracks and everything, but we haven't really gotten into like making original music yet. But it is something that we for sure want to do, like in the future. Work on it for sure. And maybe like in a year or so, record something, like an EP or something small, And yeah, I mean, we just pretty much want to get started with it. Like I said, we're doing covers right now because it's kind of just to like start off, get ourselves out there. And then we're going to start, making our original music and kind of like mix all our styles into like one style and make it as original as possible. Yeah. So I would extend that same offer to you guys, like to your band, to like once like you guys start releasing music, like I would love to have all you guys on and help you promote your music. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. That would be great. Yeah. So I mean, I'm running up on time right now. So the last question is, what was your favorite part of the interview? I'll let both of you answer. Yeah. My favorite part of this interview is meeting you. It was because we never talked to each other. I think we knew of each other. Yeah. We never really talked to each other. So it was really cool meeting you. Yeah. Nice to meet you. I appreciate it, man. I love it. Yeah, I mean, and for me, like I said, the opportunity was probably the best part. Thank you, like, so much for reaching out, cause absolutely. We're like, local musicians, and we're like, we love playing guitar, both of us, and like, we just kind of want to go out there, So thank you for helping us get out there, giving us more exposure and giving us. Like, I know my podcast is not super big, but like anytime I could give you exposure, I'll try to help you out. No, that's good because we're helping each other out, We could help each other out in this, and I'm glad that you called us for it. Thank you so much for giving us opportunity and inviting us to this. It was great, and we enjoyed talking. It's fun. It was honestly fun. It was really fun. We enjoyed talking to you. Thank you. So I appreciate it. So we're coming towards the end of the podcast. I would want to thank each of you guys for listening to the podcast. And for the next section, I'm going to allow both of you to play your song.
Oh God, yes, we will.